Yeah, it was pretty phenomenal just to watch different people's talents. We started at 7:30, got a little over at around 9:05, no break. They pretty much just did rhythmic things and danced and had some good comedy. But when I was done, I just thought, man, if I just dance up here for about 30 seconds, I'm just about exhausted. And they went an hour and a half of just incredible energy, nonstop. And as I got done, I just thought, what the Lord had been telling me. He says, son, you're starting to age a little bit. And I said, well, I know. There's nothing I can do about that. And he said, no. He says, I don't mean that. He says, you're starting to age in your thinking. You're starting to buy into the lie that you're getting older. And boy, I didn't think I was going to do this. I set my heart that I was not going to do it. My family's got a beautiful example, watching our grandparents, live to be 108 and 104. They did not think old. My grandfather was on top of his cedar shingle roof, raking leaves at over 100 years old. He was on rickety ladders up 10 feet, trimming off bushes over 100. My grandmother, she tried new recipes right to the last. She tried Mexican food when she shouldn't have. My brother was dragging me around on a little red wagon. That sounds really sweet, but it wasn't that he's just pulling me with this little red wagon. He had it to a motorcycle, tied, put some hard hat on me that probably should have never been worn by a kid. And I said, have some fun, John. And man, we'd go down, we found out little red wagons were not meant to go 35 miles an hour. The little rubber tires came off. But as we drove by once, my grandmother, always had to be in her 90s, just stopped us. What are you boys doing? We're having fun. And she said, well, let me have a ride. And I looked at my brother. He looked at me with a look of terror, like, oh my gosh, if we weren't in enough trouble already. But, we are who we are. So she climbed in and she got a heck of a ride. And thank God we didn't kill her, or he didn't kill her. My grandfather, I had a 1936 Chevy Panel that I was fixing up to be a hot rod, and I stuck a 283 motor in it and a Power Glide. I had it all strapped down. It was a Sturgis milk delivery wagon. It was a really cute little, panel truck, and the front seat of it on the other, on the passenger side had to flip up so the people get in the back. But I had it all tore off. I had nothing on it but the frame. And I was driving by, and typical for me, I was always just welding things together, spot welding it, make sure it worked before I really put it in solid. And I got in trouble so many times doing that. But anyway, I drove by, and it's and my throttle's barely working. I don't have any brakes really yet. I just wanted to get out on the road with it a little bit. And my grandfather stops me and says, hey, pretty nice. I go, yeah, well, give me a ride. Oh my gosh, again, terror hit me. He sat in that passenger seat, and I went to take off nice and slow and steady, and because everything was kind of temporary, it kind of gunned and spun the tires, and I forgot that the seat wasn't fastened down, except where it hinged, to flip over. So all of a sudden, my grandfather's in a chair, flipped over, looking at the rear axle, and I'm trying to figure out how to brake it and slam it in park, and again, just terror of, the Williamson brothers killed their grandparents, veil paper, newel paper. But anyway, we saw an example of people who didn't grow old in their mind, and yet, in the last few years, God says, you've been trying to conserve energy, with some of the things you're going through physically and stuff, and he says it doesn't work that way. And as I watch those people do the stomp, and just keep going. I thought, you know what, folks? Our message today is back to John 3, that everything produces its own like kind. If you want energy in your life, you know what you have to have? You have to have energy to reproduce energy. You don't get energy by conserving. You get energy by using. this whole economy, even though I disagree with the raising the debt and all that, it does not work by everybody tightening up the belt. It works by everybody going to work and spending money and buying things and blessing people and helping people. It works on flow. And your life is the same way. And sometimes when I get up here, like I said, I got to get in better shape to do this dancing thing. But I'm telling you, if you would ever just, there's no like spiritual power in doing things per se. You know, even all the sacraments and all that, there's no real power in just doing them per se. It's just the release of your heart belief that brings change to your life. But I'm telling you that there's times when you just have to get out of your shell and do something to start producing life in your body and in your mind and in your heart. And frankly, of all the things that I know, dancing does that a lot. And so, dance. I tell people, they said, you know, I learned to dance like I dance by getting out of a tractor in a plowed field and just kicking up my heels. The reason I kick so high is because you had to keep from stumbling on the big chunks. You need to do some things physical to match up with what's in your heart, and it will produce life in you. You just say, oh, it's just awkward, I'm embarrassed. Listen, there's no way you're going to win in this life if you keep being embarrassed by what people think of you. Okay, there just isn't. If there's anything just to give up, it's just to give up the worry of what people think of you. Start living your life and start living it to the best of your ability. You're going to die anyway. Have some fun while you do it. But get in your house alone if you want to, whatever else. Get out in the woods someplace and shout and dance and jump up and down and tell God it's a happy day because your soul has been saved and you're going to live forever. Amen? Just the extra thing there.